What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to continue on the EyeBox 360, or IceBox, because it's going to be cold. Anyway, before we get into that, a couple things. I'm about to go drop off the R2-D2 Xbox to ship that off. Somebody did the buy it now. Real excited. Hope they love it. Packaged everything really nicely. The GTA Xbox is still up for sale. There is a bid on there already. And the Halo Xbox will probably be ended by the time you watch this video, but so far no one has bid on it yet. Maybe they will at the last second. We'll see. There are several people watching it. Anyway, we also got another package in today, which is the 50mm fans. Got two of them. Apparently they're UV, which I guess there is UV lights in here, so that should work out. They're going to fit on our dual 50 radiator. Where in the last video we cut out the section in the back to mount that. We're going to get into that in a second. I got another shipment in today. So like the Grand Theft Auto Elite that I got for $6.99 plus shipping, and had to just order a couple little parts for it, not to mention the cost of all the mods I then put on it. But this was another very similar situation. Now the other one was just as is, so it did not say it had red ring, and the only issue was the jammed disk drive, although it did not have a hard drive or anything else with it. This one was posted as a red ring of death, Elite. It's got a 120GB hard drive, and yeah, all it said was red ring of death. And again, I paid the same amount as I did for the Grand Theft Auto one. And so I was getting ready to plug it in and see if we had 2 or 3 red lights. Now this Elite is not a Jasper, it looks like it's a Falcon, but still an Elite. So here we go. Fans are a little bit loud. USB doors, spring is missing on there. And look at that, it doesn't even have the red ring of death. Does it have a jammed disk drive? I guess it does. I'll be honest, earlier it opened up just fine, so apparently it's probably just dirty. I can already see lots of dust, in here. So I guarantee cleaning this thing out, this thing's going to work flawlessly. Obviously new thermal paste will do all that fancy stuff, and I already have an idea in mind for this one. I'm going to do a Tony Hawk theme on this one. I've got a full chrome faceplate. I've got honestly, what inspired me to do this, I came across one of those old tech decks, and it was all chrome, and I already had the chrome faceplate, and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. I can cut a window, put the skateboard in there, and just kind of do Tony Hawk theme. Obviously come with Tony Hawk games, and yeah, kind of like the GTA one. I don't know if we'll do a big fan or anything, maybe just a basic window, and maybe we'll just do all blue lights. We'll do like since I took the blue Talus Moon fan out of this system, and we're not going to use it because we're going to use these fans instead. Yeah, maybe we'll do blue and blue lights and blue ring of light and all that stuff. So yeah, another great steal. So this one honestly will be a pretty simple build. I'll probably even have it done before I even finish with this water-cooled one. So yeah, another build on the way. I know I keep pushing off. Some people are excited for the PlayStation Portables and other things coming up. I will get to those, I promise. So, anyway, back to this guy. Alright guys, we got the motherboard out. I've already installed this water block here. Got the screws in. You can see the block sort of from there. Right now we're just soldering in our 3-pin connector here. Got 12 volts in the middle, ground over here, and this is going directly to the power input here. And then we just put a little bit of electrical tape over, just in case our solder points are a little tall. We don't want anything shorting out. It's just going to make sure nothing touches that metal frame there. And then this will just be bent around, and it'll be access for the 3-pin on the pump. And we want that connection because we don't want it plugged in while we test everything else out until we actually get water in the system. Then we'll actually plug that in. So there we go. Alright, so I got this in here for now. Just kind of trying to test fit. So unfortunately, I don't think this setup is just going to work unless I were to completely redo this and move this fan all the way to the very top. That little bit of room would give us, would make it actually work. So it would work if I could get this pump. As you can see, there's a space here. If I could get that bottom part all the way up against this metal frame, it might work. However, this is as far in as I can move this radiator, even with these thin fans. It would be nice to pull that all the way up to the motherboard, just so it's not sticking as far out the back. I think the issue is just this pump top. I just don't think I'm going to be able to use it. I could try a different reservoir or something, but even like this one, the openings are only on the top and bottom, so it would kind of have to be sideways. I would have to drill a whole bunch more holes to have a spot to drain it and all that. I do have another top for this one, but it's exactly the same. It's just black instead of clear. I remember sometime long ago I had, the stock top for this pump is just a black, that would work, but it's two big barbs sticking out. So I would have to do 3/8 tubing or use some kind of reducers for that. However, I remember it was just like the stock pump top, except it was acrylic, so it still had the two openings here, which would, I think, work perfectly. However, I cannot find anything like that right now. I am going to try to find other pump tops that are pretty much the same. So as you can see, anything outside of this blue O-ring here is just useless space, really. It just kind of looks cool, I guess, even though this one's really scratched up and stuff anyway. But it looks like there are some, as you can see, these tabs there, those are the mounting screws. So everything beyond that is just kind of useless. I mean, this is to put an LED in. These are other mounting points here, these little screws going in. So it looks like there are some where this whole top part is a little bit, it doesn't stick out that far. But there are some that are like that, but don't have this inlet here. It's just this one and then the outlet here. And that would really change things, because I don't want to use that one, of course. Otherwise I would have to, the hose would have to go up here, or the reservoir would have to be above it to feed the pump. So unfortunately that also means spending even more money on this one, and I was really hoping to keep this whole system, under 300, but you can see how quickly these things add up, which is why I have never successfully, when somebody has reached out and said, hey, can you water cool a system for me, or I'll send you mine, or anything like that, they just don't understand how much this adds up. Not to even mention just shipping this thing with these extra parts on it, it is a lot heavier. I mean, this is a solid metal and acrylic. This is solid acrylic. Water block itself is probably weighs more than the two heat sinks. Radiator, all that other stuff, especially with fluid. Now, obviously, I wouldn't ship it with fluid in it, but when it is all complete, it's pretty heavy. So also, having it this close to the end would mean, you don't really want to cut all the way to the end like this. We're cutting that out. It then makes it really difficult to have this vent on there, because then I can't use the tab here or the tab here. I can only use the middle tab to hold that on, which can work, and I could, maybe even hot glue it or something. Assuming if I'm sending this, if I'm selling this one, that they're not going to take it apart. There hopefully shouldn't be a need to. But yeah, so we're going to have to figure out something with that. I could use a different pump, but like I said, I don't want to spend that much money. I could probably get another top for $20 or less. And then keep in mind when I'm talking about prices of these parts, that doesn't include tax and shipping and all that. You know, like the white temperature display. Let's see, there's one in here. I guess we'll use that as an example. This temperature display, they're like $8, but the sites you can get them on still, you know, there's a minimum that you need to spend in order to get free shipping. And for some reason, shipping is like, you know, $17 or something ridiculous for that. So that's really where the issue comes in. But I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out. All right, guys. So looking around, Amazon has been better and better at being a place to buy a lot of this stuff, mostly because of shipping. So I was able to find this one here, and you can see it's only $6.73, so it'll be, I don't know, $7 and some change after tax. Unfortunately, it's going to take quite a while to be here. Today is the 2nd, so it's going to take a couple weeks. Now this actually also comes with a heat sink and everything, which is that metal frame you can see around here. So it starts off as a pump that looks like this, basically. It's all plastic. I have that metal frame on the bottom, which is kind of like a heat sink, and then the acrylic top on that. And these are not cheap pumps, so that pump alone with the accessories on top is well over $100. Now, like I said, obviously mine is used. My acrylic top piece is all, you know, almost kind of stained from the colored coolant and scratched up and everything. So this would be a new one, and obviously I'm going to go ahead and order this no matter what. It's basic because, you know, for the price I can't beat that, and worst case scenario I'll have this as an extra one. But it looks like it's going to be exactly like the one that's on there, except it doesn't stick out, you know, an extra ½ inch or so all the way around. The screw holes you can see are all the way on the corners. The other ones, they're inset, and that's just because the whole thing is bigger. And on top of that, this one does still have the inlet and outlet on the front side. So I think that's going to kind of solve that issue there. I still would like to see if I can move the pump in the frame, you know, a little bit closer so I can move the radiator in, but that's not the worst case scenario. So we're going to go ahead and order this, and obviously that means they're going to have to wait a while to continue that build. I know it says there's another option for a faster delivery. I could probably get it next week, but that's literally like $23 for that. So just with the cost of this, $7 and something, I had to order another fitting. That was like $8, and then the 2 fans I ordered for the radiator. We've already spent about another $40 on this system, so that, like I said, that just shows how expensive this stuff adds up to be. And I know people just want to get quotes on like water cooling stuff, and you know, I give them a rough estimate, like it's gonna be well over $200 just in parts, and that's not including me doing all the labor and having to modify everything, cutting stuff open, you know. And again, that doesn't even include usually fittings and tubing, which fittings really can add up. So anyway, we're gonna order that, and then in the meantime we will be able to just kind of work on the wiring and other stuff. I won't have to recut the top panel and move the fan or any of that stuff. So yeah, in the meantime, I guess if this is going to take a while, we will probably do the Tony Hawk Xbox Elite, and hopefully get this one finished, get all those sold. And I do have an idea for a more budget build that hopefully more people will actually be interested in. I know these are all 360s, and some people are like, why are you even messing with stuff that old? But hey, I was able to sell some of these already. I mean, they're pretty popular. The Tony Hawk one, I have a lot of cool accessories and stuff that's going to go with that one. However, down the road, Xbox One. These Xbox One S's you can pretty much get as cheap as a 360 now. Anywhere from, I don't know, $120, $160 you can get working Xbox One S, just like mine, which I'll probably just use mine as a build, and, you know, just order myself another one from a, you know, that's more that has scratches and stuff. This one's in really good shape. And I have a great idea to do a budget build on this that hopefully people will be interested in. Like I said, I can get a system for 140 bucks, we'll say. And then we're going to do all budget stuff and see how cheap we can do one of these. Starting with, this is an 80 millimeter radiator. This was like $8. We're going to get a water block that is the same one I have in my Slim right now, which again, it's like a $12 or $15 water block. Obviously these are like non-name brand stuff, but and then same with the reservoir, the same one we're using in the EyeBox 360. Those are like less than $15 on Amazon. And then we'll just try to find good tubing and fittings, everything all budget, and hopefully we can have a water-cooled 1S. Give or take, make it look as cool as the original. This is the original 1S that I water cooled. That's probably my most viewed video with the red fluid and everything. That also went into the PC case and is now back to complete stock. But, we'll water cool that again. And anyway, this video's gotten too long, so we'll get working on that other stuff in the next video. Thank you guys for watching so far. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next video.